Well, are you sure about that?
Am I sure about what?
The movie being PG-13?
The one from the 90s is.
No, I'm saying with the new one.
No, I would assume the new one's going to be R. It has to be R.
So the director, the guy who wants to at least be in charge of Todd McFarlane, the guy who created Spawn,
yes,
he has been going crazy saying that this movie will be either rated R or it's not coming out.
That's awesome.
He said that that's how it needs to happen, and he won't stop until that is confirmed, especially since you've seen now that rated R superhero movies... They work if, with the right character, and Spawn is definitely a character that it works,
Yeah, I mean, I can't wait to see something on this. There's a lot of movies I'm looking forward to just seeing something on. Whether it's, the new Lion King movie directed by Jon Favreau.
I'm hesitant about that.
But I want to see it. I love the Jungle Book remake, and I think Jon Favreau's a pretty awesome director.
I am really hesitant for the new Lion King movie. We can get into later after we talk about Spawn for just a little bit.
Oh, by the way, speaking of getting into things later, let's put a pause on this and give away some stuff.
Yes.
All right, so let me get the official copy over here. All right.
Who needs official?
We need the official. If you call right now, 516-572-7440, you'll win 2 tickets to CradleCon, a comic, collectible, and pop culture convention happening at the Cradle of Aviation Museum in Garden City. Tickets are good for Sunday, June 24th. If you meet and greet comic book creators, find rare books and toys, and cosplayers can show off their work. It's for all ages. Created by fans, for fans. If you want more information about this event, you can visit cradleofaviation.org. So call right now for those tickets. Someone's already calling for that? Good God! Talk amongst yourselves.
Colton, you taking this?
Yeah. It's amazing how fast people jump the gun on that. But here's the big thing for me with Spawn is just that it needs to be rated R. It needs to be an hour and a half, hour 45 minutes tops. It can't be too long.
No, you don't need length. A lot of these movies tend to be the perfect length, like a Deadpool, and then some of them just go on and on, like Solo, for instance, was just, they could have cut 20 minutes of that film out.
And it's like the 20 minutes that should have been cut out weren't cut out. So for me, it's just like, you gotta just pick your battles here. And Spawn, I think, just needs to be very simple, just an introduction, action, like whatever you need to do, just get it done.
I wouldn't even mind if Spawn was like a Netflix series, because I think there's a lot of stories of Spawn that could be told. It was actually an HBO cartoon show. That's where I was first introduced into Spawn, and that was very raunchy, very ahead of its time, really well animated. And speaking of like raunchy comic book characters in 90s movies, Jason Momoa and director Corin Hardy, they exited the Crow remake. So Deadline reports that Jason Momoa and Colin Hardy formally withdrew from the Crow remake today in what sounds like creative and financial differences. And this was actually a few days ago, so it wasn't today. But I don't know, Joe, have you ever seen The Crow?
Yes.
That was Brandon Lee's last movie. He was the son of Bruce Lee, and there's a whole controversy behind the movie. I don't know if you know, but Brandon Lee actually got killed on the set of The Crow.
Yes, and it's just a weird... I didn't really like it when I saw the movie.
I enjoyed The Crow. I think artistically and visually, it is one of the most beautiful films of the 90s. The story's pretty basic. A guy... It's kind of like, this movie Upgrade, whereas, or a RoboCop type of movie. A guy, his girlfriend gets killed, and he wants revenge. He also gets killed, but he gets brought back to life. And I love The Crow as far as, just the visuals go, but, the story is a little lackluster. But I would have been interested to see what Jason Momoa, who I'm not the biggest fan of, but I would like to see, a different remake of The Crow. I think it warrants a new movie.
Yeah, I'm down with Jason Momoa in any facet. By the way, congratulations to Jill and Valley Stream. You're going to CradleCon.
Oh, nice. Congratulations.
So next week, we're going to be giving away another pair of tickets to that.
Last pair of tickets.
Yeah, so...
you got to be listening.
Absolutely. Tell your friends. Tell your neighbors. Tell their friends.
Which is it? Well, you know what's crazy to me thinking about it is that on The Crow, so Brandon Lee died from a gunshot.
Yes, so the actor, who fired the bullet, I've saw interviews with him. He was just heartbroken because there was a blank bullet and the shrapnel from the blank went through his chest and killed him. Now there's a lot of controversies and conspiracies that it was the Chinese mafia that killed him, because that's also a conspiracy as to how Bruce Lee died, because Bruce Lee was teaching teaching martial arts and karate. I don't even know if that's what he was teaching, but he was teaching it to American audiences, and I think the Chinese mafia had some beef with that, and there's a rumor that he was murdered. He was given food poisoning, and that's how he died.
Really?
I mean, I don't know if that's true, but Brandon Lee, there's also saying, he was, somebody put a bullet in there to kill him, but I don't think that's true either. But it's crazy, they
That's bananas.
They filmed the scene, and they obviously did a lot of editing and a lot of kind of Paul Walker stuff, whereas you hired a different actor to kind of film scenes that need to be filmed, because the filming wasn't 100% complete. So the movie would have been a lot different had Brandon Lee still been alive. And I'm telling you right now, if Brandon Lee was still alive, he would be like a Keanu Reeves. He would be an action star that would still be killing it in Hollywood. This was a kid who was like 25 years old and good looking guy. He had the legacy of the Lee family, and his first big movie, The Crow, he gets murdered on the set. It's a story that I think would make a phenomenal movie. If they told just the Brandon Lee story, I think that's something that would be interesting.
Yeah, the only problem is that his father will always be the guy who everyone thinks of, Bruce Lee.
Yeah,
and it was Kung Fu, by the way.
Kung Fu, yes.
Kung Fu, because karate's Japanese.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay.
I probably offended someone.
No.
Yeah, you offended me.
Yeah, me too.
But it's one of those things where it's like, it's just a shame that everyone's gonna think of his father before of him.
Yeah, I mean,
and it's kind of like I'll tie it into if you look at the Solo movie, right? Which what we're gonna talk about. Yeah. Everyone's going to compare Alden Ehrenreich, I think that's how you say his name, to Harrison Ford. And it's kind of unfair, and it's like why these two shouldn't be compared to each other, but they are.
I've heard this. I've heard this from, I believe it was even Siskel and Ebert who reviewed The Crow. They said, he had potential to be just as big, if not bigger, than Bruce Lee.
Really?
And we'll never know. It's kind of like a wrestler whose parent was a wrestler, a guy like, Cody Rhodes or even a Curtis Axel. You have to live up to a legacy, and it's tough, when your father or mother is, a big movie star or a big singer. You never really live up to, like, Colin Hanks is a good actor, but he'll never be Tom Hanks. But then again, Bret Hart is a bigger wrestler than his father, Stu Hart. So every now and then you get a Dwayne The Rock Johnson who ended up being bigger than both his grandfather and his father.
Yep.
So it does happen from time to time, but Bruce Lee will always be the innovator of bringing martial arts, to the big screen. And to me, I'm more of a Jackie Chan fan.
I was like, even though Jackie Chan in all reality is the superior guy.
It's not, I don't even think it's close. I mean, Bruce Lee only made 3 movies, I believe. Jackie
when did
Chan,
Bruce Lee die?
When did he die? Like maybe
73.
Early 70s.
I want to say it's 73.
That sounds about right.
And Jackie Chan, I mean, no pun intended, is still kicking.
Jackie Chan's been doing movies. He was even a stuntman on Bruce Lee's films.
73.
So Jackie Chan's been doing his thing for like 45 years, 50 years.
So obviously, Jackie's had a lot more time to perfect his craft.
Yeah. I just think, Jackie Chan has covered more genres as well. He's done comedy so well. His timing and just his, comedic abilities. He's a very likable human being. I love Jackie Chan. He's actually one of my favorite actors of all time. So I can't wait to see what he has left in his career, because he's up there in age and he's taken wear and tear throughout the years. But I wouldn't mind to see something else with him, perhaps another Rush Hour. If we could,
but they're going to do it. They're doing another Rush Hour. I believe they started.
Which one are we
filming.
up to? 4?
4.
This would be the 4th one.
I love Rush Hour. It's one of my favorite movies.
Rush Hour 1 and 2 are awesome.
Who is the name of the other actor?
Chris Tucker.
Chris Tucker. I don't know why I always confuse him with Chris Rock.
A lot of people do.
It happens. He actually is a really funny Netflix.
Tucker?
Yeah.
Chris Tucker is one of the funniest human beings ever.
He had a really funny Netflix special that they did.
I'll have to check it out. He's also in one of my favorite
movies. For
movies.
Christmas, I think.
I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Money Talks. It's with him and Charlie Sheen. It's from 97.
No, I don't think I saw it.
Oh, my God.
I've seen bits and pieces when it comes on TV.
That is one of the funniest movies
And also, Bruce Lee did 32 movies.
No, he's in 32 movies. He filmed 3 movies. They did a lot of Bruce Lee exploitation films, I want to say they called it. So basically they took scenes...
No, from... well, most of these are actually Chinese movies, but from 1941 until 1973, he was in movies. And some TV shows here and there. Like, he was in Batman...
Yeah, because he was in the Green Hornet. That's what it is.
No, I know, but I'm saying is like he in the Green. Hello?
Why does every mic in this place fall? Like literally, none of them are immune.
That's good. But yeah, he was in a bunch of like Chinese movies and like other things. So he was maybe in like 3 American movies or 4 American movies, and then like a bunch of like American TV shows for like cameos and such. But just something I wanted to look up really quickly, just because I was wondering. I was like, I wonder how many exactly did he do? But you know, and the crazy thing, of course, when you look at Bruce Lee, is that whenever Bruce Lee couldn't do something, you know, for a couple movies, you had Jackie Chan doing it. So Jackie Chan, in my book, he is the superior, at least movie guy. And also, I don't understand how half of Bruce Lee's martial arts work. So, yeah, there you go. People still don't understand how the 1-inch punch is done. I don't know how Bruce Lee does that.
Well, that just adds to the mystery of it, doesn't it?
I know. Have you guys ever seen him do that, the 1-inch punch?
I have.
I don't get it. I think it's fake.
And here are the main Bruce Lee movies. They're obviously Enter the Dragon, Way of the Dragon, and Fist of Fury. Those are like, the 3 big ones that everyone kind of knows. And I guess he was in a movie when he was an infant, if you want to count movies like that.
Yeah, he's got bunch of weird. He's got a bunch of weird things on there, and like a bunch of Chinese movies that I don't even want to try to pronounce. I think what we should do is, for punishment for when you get things wrong, you should have to pronounce a Bruce Lee movie.
No,
from like 1955.
Absolutely not.
So this is how he died on May 10th, 1973. Lee collapsed during an automated dialogue replacement session, so an ADR session for Enter the Dragon. Suffering from seizures and headaches, he was immediately rushed to Hong Kong Baptist Hospital, where doctors diagnosed cerebral edema. They were able to... I still feel like reading more and more. It's a lot of stuff.
Well, anyway, getting off of Bruce Lee, let's go back to that little analogy I made between Bruce Lee and...
Solo
and Alden Ehrenreich. So we're going to go... I have a bunch of spoilers and, like, deleted scenes that I was reading and that I looked up that they had, because there are basically 2 fundamentally completely different films that were made for Solo.
Yeah, because it was done by 2 different sets of directors. You had the Ron Howard film, and then before that you had the Lord and Miller cut, which I'm interested to see if they kept any of that stuff, what was kept. And
I believe there was actually like a script for a version before that they were written. Okay. So because this movie was originally supposed to come out right after The Force Awakens. Right?
I did not know that.
Yeah, like 2 or 3 months after The Force Awakens, Solo was supposed to come out.
That's stupid.
And then it got pushed back because, the writing which wasn't there, and they were having problems with directors and this and that. So they pushed a lot of things back. This is a movie that in itself has basically been in production for, when did Force Awakens come out? 2014?
Maybe 2015, I want to say.
All right, so 2014, 2015, we'll say it, right? Like, that's been like 4 years it's been in, writing, development hell, basically. And then it finally got to shooting, and after, 70% of it was done.
I heard more than that.
Yeah.
I heard 85% of the film was done.
So, we'll go at 70 to 85%. Basically, he's basically done at that point. Yeah. And the directors get fired. So apparently the big reason is that, and they equate it to this, the Lord and Miller version, from people who have seen it and read it and have heard from it, say that version of the movie was the version of the future. It was a version that took just movie making in a different way, because they did it very in the thought of, at all times that you're on set, you're in character. So there's a lot of improv.
Yeah, I heard improv was everywhere.
There's a lot of just making stuff up as they go along. We're just gonna, we're gonna put you guys on a set, and we want to see if you were Han Solo, what would you do? And there's a lot of that going on. And there's also a lot of different changes that they had with a lot of characters. Like, apparently they wanted Beckett to not have a lot of hair, and they wanted to get rid of a couple characters and change a couple characters' looks. And Paul Bettany wasn't even originally Dryden Voss. That was completely recast and reshot because the original actor couldn't make it for reshoots.
Oh. I wonder who that was.
He's a black actor. I forgot his name off the top of my head. But he's a well-known actor. You've seen him in a ton of movies.